The sponsor for today's review is going to be Mrs. Laruan ni Obi-Wan. So, I thank my wife for this action figure. So, let's unbox this action figure and see if it is worth your time and money in hunting this down. So, let's do a quick 360 of the packaging. And for those of you who are interested with searching this on store with the codes, so this is the product code or the barcode for this figure. So let's examine the contents of our purchase. So we have the Iron Man figure, we have repulsor or booster effects and smoke effects that goes together with the repulsor or boot effects. We also have an alternate set of hands, which are fists. The ones that are attached on the figure are flight hands or repulsor shooting hands. Let's do a visual 360 of this Iron Man action figure. So this is my first time to really see this mold of figure from Marvel Legends, especially for an Iron Man action figure. So I did a little bit of research, and yes, this is a new figure mold for the Iron Man. So as for height of this figure, it is almost on the 6-inch mark, but not really a 6-inch tall figure. But basically, when you take a look at the mold, it is a really beefed up or thickly set body for an Iron Man figure. So 98.5% of this action figure is molded plastic. So where are the painted areas? It's going to be the unibeam, these two light pieces on the chest, the light pieces on the forearm gauntlets, on the discs of the belt, and on the shins of the boot. The bicep, the yellow part is also painted. And as for the head sculpt, is going to be the eye sockets, the mouth, and this black part or the side of the jaw. But the rest of the figure is molded plastic, and it's really nice and shiny when you take it out of packaging. I mean, now when I see a really shiny action figure, I'm really scared with regards to stiff joints or joints that could possibly break or joints that are molded shut. But surprisingly, I think it's going to be really just subjective, but this copy that my wife gave me, the joints are really nice and articulated, so no heat method needed. So out of the box, it's good for play. So let's discuss briefly the articulation points on this action figure. So let's start with the head. So for the head area, we have a hinge and a ball just under the jawline. So as for articulation points, side to side movement, and for head tilts for flight pose, we have that much of head tilts, and that head tilt is further assisted by an added articulation point just under the clavicle area. So the neckline also would move independent of the head. Okay, so moving towards the body. For the body, we don't, as pointed out earlier, we don't have articulation point on the waistline. All articulation points would be on the diaphragm area. That's going to be a ball system. But as to articulation, how smooth or how well are the bends forwards and backwards, I think because of the mold, this hump, it impedes the bending forwards of the figure. So not so much bending forwards, but for flight poses, that's okay, just okay. So quite limited articulation on the waistline. So moving towards the arm. So for the arm, there's free rotation of the arm, and for T poses, it is also possible. But this piece, this yellow piece, the shoulder guard piece, is a separate piece of plastic. It is glued onto the ball of the shoulder, and that is made of soft rubbery material. If you make this figure or pose this figure in a static action pose for quite some time, it's going to warp or deform that piece of soft rubbery plastic material, just in this case. So it's going to take time to really mold back onto the ball of the shoulder, and because of that extra rubbery piece, somehow it makes articulation points sideways or some of those action poses quite hindered. Let's move towards the biceps. We have rotation for the bicep, 2 points of articulation for the elbow, and they are pinless. We have a hinge and rotation of the wrist or the hands. And for the extra handset that comes with the figure, the repulsor or the flight hands, we also have a working hinge. So really great. Now, moving towards the legs. So for the thigh, we have a cut on the thigh for rotation of the thigh, 2 points of articulation for the knee, and they are pinless. We also have rotation of the boot. We have a hinge for the foot and rocker. So as for the entire leg moving forwards, because of this really thick armor or thick thigh, you have to situate the thigh a certain way as to not hit the side disc. So you could move the leg free this way forwards. And for backward kicks, not so much because of the design of the butt piece. So that is the articulation points on this action figure. To join this new Iron Man action figure, we have the modular Iron Man suit and the AI Iron Man. Oh, what does these two action figures share in common? It's going to be an articulation point on the diaphragm area, so we really have nice bends forwards and backwards. We also have a cut on the waistline for rotation of the waistline. So this figure does not have that, and we also have very limited articulation point except for rotations sideways and a little bit of forward tilts, but a lot of backward tilts. So that is just it. So what I really like about these two action figures that this really suffers is going to be the ball on the shoulders, because as you could see, that is a free weighting joint system, which this action figure has a separate piece or a armor piece that somehow is going to be deformed in time if you subject this action figure to a static action pose. So how does this Iron Man figure fit in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe Iron Man figures? So far it still blends well. So if you are like me, I really don't care with regards to how I mix and match action figures as long as they look nice on the display case. Then this is how this new Iron Man figure fits into the dynamic trio. Okay, so my final thoughts on this action figure. Is it going to be a pass or a purchase? Since my wife gave me this action figure, it's going to be a purchase. But if it's just going to be me looking at this action figure on the aisle, knowing the information that this video I already presented in this video, and taking back these two action figures, which I most of the time or majority of the time I really play with these two action figures, it's going to be a pass, because somehow this action figure shares articulation points with the more modern stuff, which is very looks okay but very limited. This action figure, as you could see, also has very limited forward tilts. We don't also have an articulation point on the waistline, and we also have that soft plastic rubbery piece, a shoulder armor, which somehow impedes or would deform when you articulate this figure, the arms which this one would share. So somehow great looking action figure, execution in toy form, a mixture of classic and modern, all Tony Stark. But with this video, with the points that I presented, it's going to be up to you whether it's a pass or a purchase. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and see you on the next action figure review.